It is indeed a transition time in the world of New York sports. Baseball is over, college basketball is beginning, and despite what a few people have said, the NFL season in New York may not be over just yet. We got some Jets football to talk about tonight. You know what's up, you know what's good. It's Wednesday night, and we are live. And well, welcome back, everybody, to New York Sports, WickerMedia. I'm Watch UK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So we got a few things to talk about here tonight. The NFL trade deadline has passed us, and the rest of the season is upon us. What kind of chance do the Jets really have to make the playoffs? Now, I did post a link here in the video, in the chat, about a video I posted last night where I analyzed every team remaining that the Jets have left on their schedule, and I ranked it from the hardest game to the easiest game. Did my own little process. It's a fun 15 or 20-minute watch. If you haven't checked that out, the description is in the chat. Save that to the videos to watch later. Yes, I'm getting the cheap plug out of the way because I had a lot of fun doing that video. All right, I've got a couple of quick hellos. I see that we got a few people here in the chat. Indy Jets, good to see you too. I swear I just saw you on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. But all right, glad that you are here. We've got the great Harlan Abraham. Yes, sir, like the founding father of our group. I'm glad that you are here, my friend. David D is here too. Awesome, guys. Yeah, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. You know the deal. We get to 15 likes. We spin that crazy wheel tonight. Oh, my gosh. David D asks, what movie did you watch last night? Yeah, I said I was too nervous to watch anything that was going on TV. We are not going to get political here. I will just say I was incredibly nervous. If you want that side of me, go to Twitter. But I went out to watch the Liam Neeson movie Absolution, which is set up in Boston. And, of course, it's a typical Liam Neeson action movie, playing an old, wearing down criminal thug. Hard to get out of the underworld as much as he tries to get out and create a better life for himself. I can't say this was his best movie by any stretch. I don't even think I recognized any of the other actors in it. Maybe Ron Perlman. I would say it was an okay movie. I wouldn't call it one that you got to go out of your way to see, if I'm being fair about it. The one I want to go see, though, I will tell you, is Juror Number 2. Now, it's a limited release, but it's a Clint Eastwood directed movie. And I think it's only in about a couple of dozen theaters around the country. It's going to be on HBO Max, but it's around in a couple of theaters. But I think I'm going to go see that this weekend. It's only in one theater in the Raleigh-Durham area where I live, and it's about a 20 to 25-minute drive. So I think Juror Number 2, that is one I'll be watching out. Yeah, that was you, Indy Jets. Yeah, fantastic. Glad you're there. Woody may be leaving soon. You know what, guys? We'll talk about that a little bit. Yeah, we can't completely avoid the election. But yeah, there are definitely some things to address there. I don't know if it's quite, I'll put it this way. I think you're going to see a rather different administration than you did that started back in 2016. All right, we're going to get to all of that. But first, let's talk about what's on my mind in a bit of what we like to call 3 and Out. By the way, we got the slides back in normal format. StreamYard still has not fixed the problem, but I downloaded all the slides and uploaded them as opposed to just, transferring them over. So took a little bit more work, but the slides should go a lot smoother now. Tony Alexio here as well. Yeah, Harlan's sneaking the comment in there on me. Hey, what's up, Tony? Glad you are here. Hope you're having a great week. And happy November to everybody. Well, first of all, I'm not going to spend too much time on these topics because we got a lot of football to talk about. The New York Knicks, 109-97 loss in Houston on Monday. They are 3-3 on the season. My concern with this team had been depth. The bench, really at the power forward, at the center positions. Really, it's the depth all over the place. Campaign, Deuce McBride, these guys just ain't doing it. McBride went 0 for 9 from the field. Tyler Kolek, I like him a lot as a backup point guard, but he's just not ready to play. But congratulations to Ariel Hukporti, who I believe was the last draft pick this year, and he just got a two-year contract from the Knicks. So he has played very, very well. He might even leap Jericho Sims on the depth chart. Sims went scoreless in 16 minutes. And who's this guy for Houston? Alperen Sengun? I don't know. He had 25 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks, shot 11 for 15 from the floor. Not good. Knicks in Atlanta tonight at 7:30. On to hockey. The New York Islanders were the only team that's been playing well recently. They beat the Penguins in a shootout. That's right, I'm giving you. I know there's 1 or 2 people in the chat that are going to appreciate the Islanders shout out, but yes, I'm giving it to them. They beat the Penguins 4-3 in a shootout. They're now 5-6-2 on the year. Isles trailed 3-1 midway through the third period, came back with 2 late goals, and took it in a shootout. Ilya Sorokin stopped all 3 Penguin skaters in the shootout. All 3 local teams will be in action Thursday night, so Wednesday is a very quiet night in the world of New York sports outside of the Knicks. But you got the Sabres facing the Rangers at Madison Square Garden, the New York Islanders against the Ottawa Senators, and the Montreal Canadiens at the New Jersey Devils. So basically the 3 local teams are playing essentially the 3 worst teams in the Atlantic Division. That is essentially the breakdown. Dano! That's right. Hit the like. That's it. So close to 1,000 subscribers. I feel like I'm saying it every freaking week, man. But, man, tell one person you know. Just tell one person you know to subscribe because we are so close. We are not quite there yet. So, yeah, 37 subscribers away from hitting that 1,000-mark plateau. And I want to spend a minute here on Major League Baseball free agency. Is something going to happen anytime soon? I'm sorry. Kyle Hendricks signing with the Anaheim Angels didn't exactly get me going, you know. But it's amazing with baseball because if you look at football, basketball, hockey, free agency is boom. It's a sprint right out of the gate. Baseball, it takes weeks for anything major to happen. Now, why is that? I think one of the main reasons is baseball is the one sport that does not have a salary cap. These players, I think they have the mindset, or these agents more accurately, hello, Scott Boras, they feel they could keep driving the price up and up and up. And now you're hearing some rumors about Pete Alonso getting interest from the Yankees. Now, look, I know they need a first baseman. There's no doubt about that. And I'm sure there's some Yankee fans who would love the idea of poaching Alonso away from the Mets. But if you look at the Yankees roster, do they really need another right-handed slugger who isn't exactly fast on the bases? You've got Judge, all right, who could still run, but you've also got Stanton. And I think the lack of athleticism really cost this team quite a bit this year. So I just don't know if it makes the most sense in the world. Now, a Christian Walker from Arizona, that would give you a left-handed hitting first baseman, a little bit older, but you give him a 2 or 3 year deal. That's somebody, if I'm the Yankees, I would target. That's my thought. I just don't know if Alonso makes the most sense. Harlan Abraham wants to see the Red Sox sign some people who don't get injured so much. I'll tell you what, Tyler O'Neill, if he leaves Boston, he's going to be very sought after, very much sought after. But it's not the deepest free agent market in baseball. And again, it's going to take a while for things to develop. But the first and main domino to fall is Juan Soto. If I had to give you my thoughts on it, I'd say about 90% he goes to New York. Yes, either the Mets or the Yankees. After that, I would say Toronto. I think Washington could very well swoop in, and you can never count out the Dodgers. It makes me absolutely sick to say that. I mean, come on. Shouldn't there be a rule in place that the Dodgers have enough stars already? There's got to be something already. I mean, even Roki Sasaki, the young fireballing pitcher from Japan that was 102 miles an hour, he's rumored to get posted, and the Dodgers are the favorites to sign him. Doesn't it just make it? I'm starting to hate them as much as I hate the Braves, which I did not think was possible. Wild Wave would fire Cashman if he signs Pete. Wow. Woo. Harsh critic in here. All right. I think you'd take him over Rizzo at this point, the way Rizzo is deteriorated. Roger F., good to see you. I'm glad that you're home. Good. Hope you had a good day. Thanks for being here. Hey, Wow Wade, glad that you're here, my friend. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I think we are going to switch it over right now. So I think we know we need to do. We need to make a little transition. We're going to change the color scheme over to green. Oh, yes, there it goes. And then, well, you know what? I can't. I'm not going to play the chant just yet. You know why? Because we got some business to take care of. You remember what we did last week? Yeah. Let's remove the background for just 2 seconds. Here we go, guys. I got the organic cayenne pepper out again, and I got the water bottle out again. It worked last week, so damn it. Until it doesn't work, we're going to keep doing it. So on camera, so everybody knows we're on the up and up. There we go. One more nice dose of that. Yeah, there we go. That's a solid teaspoon of it. All right, let's give this guy a little shake. I'm drinking my cayenne water, guys. I hope you are as well. All right, let's put the background back up. There we go. Nobody needs to see the inside of my apartment. All right, I'll tell you what, let's take a little swig, and I'm going to do it as we play the chant. So, guys, season's not over yet. Big game this week in Arizona. So, Jet fans, let me hear you. Doesn't that just make you feel good inside? Woo! I got that earthy feeling in the back of my throat again. Guys, it's for real. Hank G, what's up, man? That's it. JETS. I'm gonna have to hit the cough button on this thing a time or two tonight. Okay, so we're gonna do our back to pretty much our typical format. We will talk a little bit of standings, a little AFC East breakdown. I'll briefly touch on Tankathon. It feels like we're sort of like in purgatory. You know, our season can go this way or this way. Nobody really knows which way it's going to go. But you know what? After a big win on Thursday, even though it's 6 days later, that's right, I'm still coughing, but I'm still feeling pretty dang good. NCV, man, howdy to you too, brother. Glad you're here. All right. So let's talk a little recap of Jets versus Texans. There you go. That's Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson from another angle. Oh, how beautiful is that? I think that was actually the first touchdown. But anyway, I want to give shout outs to a couple of different players. And I want to start with the offensive line. Olufashanu had never played guard in his life until he got into that game and had to play right guard when Hansen went down again. He hadn't played in high school, hadn't played in college. Joe Tippmann basically had to coach him on what to do every single play. And Tippmann held up very, very well. The future looks very, very bright for this kid. Tyron Smith. You know what? I have been as hard on Tyron Smith as I have been on just about any player on this team. You know, it was a situation where I would not have minded them benching him for Fashanu. But you know what? Against Houston, best performance of the season. 0 sacks, 0 pressures allowed. If we're going to knock Smith when he plays poorly, he deserves to be praised when he plays well. It is the third game in a row where Tyron Smith has not allowed a sack. Now, in the first 6 games, he allowed 5 sacks and 16 pressures. Over the last 3, 0 sacks and 6 pressures, including zeros, pitching a shutout last week against the Texans. And remember, that Texans pass rush is pretty dang good when you're talking about Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. Pretty good. Jalen Mills. Oh, my God. How much do you love having Jalen Mills on the team? How good is this? Every time the Jets bring a Patriot, ever since Curtis Martin, he worked out. Ever since the Parcells era, we'll call it, how many former Patriots have the Jets brought in that actually worked out? If I'm pushing it, I can go, I don't know, Braxton Berrios maybe, but he barely even played. You know, how many have there been? Not many that I could think of. Ty Law, wasn't quite the same player in my mind. But Jalen Mills has been great. He was the Jets' second highest graded defensive player in Week 9 per PFF. He was targeted 4 times in the pass game, 0 catches allowed. He led the team in tackles with 9. Not one of the linebackers. It was Mills. Had a run stop, a pass breakup. And I'm going to give you an even better stat. Since Week 7, Jalen Mills has 5 passes defended. That is number 1 among all safeties in the National Football League. Thank you, New England, for letting him go. And again, I'm going to say it. I know you don't want to hear me say it every time. But again, kudos to Joe Douglas for finding a waiver wire gem. He has done it so many times. Jalen Mills is just the latest. Quinnen Williams, you know what? He's been getting better. 8 quarterback pressures. That was a career high. 2 sacks, tied a career high. 2 tackles for a loss. 4 quarterback hits. For the season, he is 3rd among defensive tackles with 32 pressures, tied for 2nd with 6 sacks. So even though he hasn't had the best year, the numbers are still there. You know, when he has his moments when he's on, he's really, really on. He's Chris Jones level. So Quinnen, very, very good game. And to be honest with you, I expect more of the same from him this weekend as well. The offense, let's give the offense some love on this. They had 3 consecutive touchdown drives of 70-plus yards. You know the last time the Jets did that? 2016, the Ryan Fitzpatrick days. 8 years, 3 consecutive touchdown drives. Freaking fantastic. Dano, since I can't have Clark, I can't wait to see Mills without Adams. Should be a lot better than Davis. Yeah, you think? Isaiah Oliver, you know what? This also allows him to play maybe that slot corner because we know Michael Carter II's been dealing with a lot of injuries this year. You know, it's one of those years where I just don't think he's ever going to be truly healthy. But Oliver, I think he's a little bit better of a slot corner than safety. I don't have any numbers for that. That's just the eye test really for me. But if you put in Adams along with Mills, Mills is a much better tackler than Adams. But you know what? Adams is still pretty good. He still has some range. But I think Mills is just more solid, more reliable. And he brings the tackling ability of Chuck Clark, but he brings more speed, more agility. I like it. I like that a lot. Tony Alexio, Jalen Mills is our best free agent. From this year, you can make the argument. I mean, yeah, I'm going through the roster in my mind very, very quickly. Yeah, who would be better? Mike Williams? I don't think so. Offensive lineman, was there anybody? But you know what? John Simpson. That's the one I would say, Tony. John Simpson, even though he's hurt right now, has been one of the top guards, especially with pass blocking in football. So if not Mills, I would probably go Simpson. Yeah, but with a defensive line, I mean, Reddick was a trade, so you can't count him. You had your undrafted free agents as well, but no, I don't think it's anybody else. I think it's Simpson, and I think it's Mills, and you can go either way with those that you want. Hey, you know what, Dane? I try to make good points. Oh, Roger. Well, he's got a hot sauce bottle collection. Have you been on the Cravat Brothers show? They love their hot sauce. 500 bottles from around the world. My hottest is Fresh Funds Carolina Reaper sauce. I use water with cayenne pepper in it for okay. Fresh Funds Carolina Reaper. Roger, you got any Pepper X? I think that's the next level. I think that's past a Reaper. Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys. You go down to farmers markets down here in the Carolinas. You can buy baskets of Carolina Reapers. I don't know too many people who would do that, but if it's your thing, God bless you. I think that's great. I'm good with like habaneros, even Scotch bonnets and Jamaican food. But yeah, even the ghost level too. That's where it gets to be a little much for me. So I've never had a Reaper, and I don't think I'm going to anytime soon. But I will have a little more cayenne. So let's see how this glug goes. For one thing, I'm going to take quick drinks. I don't want to take a big guzzle because that's where it really hurts. But now it hurts. It just gets super itchy. Okay, snap counts. You know, we do this every week. We look at how many snaps each Jet played and how far up or down it was compared to the previous week. Roger would probably stick with a Carolina Reaper. Okay, gotcha. All right, Jets played 58 snaps on offense. That is down 4 from the previous week against England, I believe it was. Yep. Aaron Rodgers played 58 snaps, so of course played the whole game. Breece Hall played 44, so most of the game, down just 2 snaps. Braylon Allen played 17, so he was down 2 snaps from the previous week. All right, so just 2 running backs got in the game. No sign of Isaiah Davis recently. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson played all but 1 snap in the game. Devontae Adams, 45. So that was down 13. So he obviously had to come out of the game for a little bit. when he landed on his neck. Otherwise, you got to figure he would have been playing a lot more than that. Mike Williams in his coup de grace, we'll call it. 41 snaps, up 5 from the last week. Then you get to Xavier Gibson, 10 snaps, up 4 from last week. Malachi Corley played 6. And I think he actually did play a few snaps even after that touchdown that wasn't. And Irv Charles did not play any offense, down 2 snaps from last week. I expect that to change quite drastically this coming week. Hank G, did we already have the he gone for Mike Williams? Bro, you're on page 11. I'm only on page 9. I may not have the display, but I think I might be able to work something up. Yeah, because I usually think of that as an off season, but you know what? I think we can. I think we could do something there. Yeah. Let me just pull the banner up. Tight end Tyler Conklin, 45 snaps, down 5 from last week. Jeremy Ruckert played 21. Kenny Yeboah got his first game action, which I was very happy to see. He got 4 snaps, and hopefully it will be more. And I'll tell you what. You take the hit at wide receiver like you do with no Allen Lazard in the lineup and Mike Williams gone. Even though the 2 tight end formation has not always been working that well with the Jets, you might need to go to that a little bit more, or the 21 formation with the 2 running backs. It seems to me, in my experience, from what I can tell watching, the Jets have had some big plays when both Hall and Allen are on the field. It happened against Houston. Hall had a big run to the left, and Braylon Allen was on the field at the same time. So, yeah, I would like to see some more 21 formation with the Jets, with 2 running backs and 1 tight end. And then we get to the offensive line, and when it's more than 5 players, you know it's not great. Tyron Smith, 58 snaps. Joe Tippmann, Morgan Moses, they played the whole game. We'll get to Morgan Moses in a couple of minutes. Max Mitchell, 46 snaps, did not play. I think it was his first game action all year, but he stepped in at left guard for John Simpson, who went out of the game with a groin injury. Simpson played only 12 snaps this game before needing to leave. And then Jason Hansen started the game with, Jake Hansen, Jake Hansen, 21 snaps. Olu Fashanu relieved him with 37. So we're going to see what happens this week with the offensive line. Who plays guard? We'll talk about that in a little bit. On to the defense. Quinnen Williams, so 79 snaps, up 12 from last week. So the defense was on the field a lot. Up to 54 snaps, up 6 from last week. Javon Kinlaw right behind him at 53. Got a lot more time, 14 more snaps than the previous game. Will McDonald led all defensive ends, 48 snaps, up 7. Hassan Reddick had a nice big uptick. Man, was Reddick good. 45 snaps, up 19 from last week. Michael Clemens, 36, down 1. So played a little bit less than half the game, which fine. Right around just under half the game. That's fine. Leonard Taylor got some time in the game, 27 snaps, up 10. Solomon Thomas, 22. He took a hit, as did Eric Watts. Braden McGregor did get on the field, had 13 snaps. So McGregor catching up to Watts a little bit. And after what Watts did on special teams, his snap count might go down even further after that just brutal penalty he took on that Houston field goal attempt. And now we go to the linebacking unit. So Jamian Sherwood played all but 1 snap. Quincy Williams, he played the whole game as well. And Sam Eguavoen, 20 snaps, up 19 from last week. So the Jets did quite a bit of 4-3 in this game. Not something that they do all that often. And coming up this weekend against Arizona, I got a good feeling you're going to see a lot of the same sort of thing. CJ Mosley did not appear in this game after suffering a stinger. All right, cornerback, Sauce Gardner, 76 snaps, missed 3 snaps. DJ Reed played 64, was in concussion protocol, but seems to be just fine. Michael Carter, his snap count took a hit, 28 snaps, down 9. Brandon Eccles stepped in with 17 snaps, and Kendall Sheffield got a lot of time. Actually, you know what? Kendall Sheffield, I think that's a misprint. I think he had 3. There's only 3 snaps. He didn't play quite that much, so misprint. And then we get to the safeties. Jalen Mills, I put him over enough just now, 79 snaps, up 12, played the whole game. Isaiah Oliver right behind at 71, and Jarius Monroe played 9 snaps as well. So I got to be honest, he's one of the players. I didn't even know who he was, but Jarius Monroe has basically unseated Ashton. I know Ashton Davis has been hurt a little bit lately, but still, Ashton Davis to me is a special teams player or he is a player that you put on when you're just trying to stop, the opponent's going to pass. And that's basically it. All right. So let's get out of there. And now I'm going to get into the news in just 1 second. But before we do that, just to check up a little bit on the comments. Yeah, I see a little conversation going on about Sauce Gardner. I don't think he's been quite healthy this entire year. Even in the first game against San Francisco, something looked off. Like he had to go out of the game for a little bit. He just did not look quite right. I don't think he's been right all season. I think after the season, we're going to hear something, because when you're first team All-Pro your first 2 years, I'm sorry, you are not an overrated player. Okay? You're just not. I'm sorry. He has not played up to his level, which is an incredibly high level when it comes to tackling, more than anything, or run support. His coverage has still been good, but it has not been to the level of good that we expect. Right now, he's like a top 15 corner from what I've been seeing with the metrics. But again, I can't get that freaking Keyshawn booty catch in the New England game out of my mind. Just, oh my God. But Gardner is one of the main reasons the Jets are among the league leaders in missed tackles, and I don't mean that in a good way. So Sauce has to. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he won't tackle if he really is that hurt. But yeah, Sauce is one of the big reasons for that. But if he is covering, I'll tell you what. I know they don't travel the cornerbacks, but DJ is outplaying Sauce right now. I would almost consider doing what the Patriots did with Darrelle Revis. Have Revis cover the number 2 receiver on the field. Okay, so do that with Sauce, and then put DJ on the number 1. And if you need some help with the safety, add the safety in as well. Just an idea. I don't think the Jets would do that because that is not their defensive philosophy. But I think it's something worth considering. Indy needed a little break from all the Jets YouTube. I got to be honest. I didn't watch – and after the New England game, I didn't watch a thing for about 4 days. I couldn't. Guys, I get it. I get the pain. Guys, we're pretty much the same. It's just I'm in front of a camera and looking at a computer and doing a ton of research to give you guys some content. So yeah, it's sometimes you need a little bit of detox, a little jet rehab, Yeah, Leonard Taylor, you know what? Yeah, I feel like he's playing pretty well. He's getting acclimated. I can't call him a difference maker yet, but I feel like as the season goes on, he's going to get better and better. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else going on here? It's finally over. Yeah, Indy's on more with that. Well, I'll tell you, here's the difference. Trump was away for 4 years. We've been away for 55. Trump was in the White House until 2020. We haven't been to a Super Bowl since January 12th, 1969. It would be better than that. Now, granted, all right, we're not going to go there, but I'm going to go there. But yeah, it would be pretty amazing. But yeah, it's got to make the Jets great again, right? I know. All right, let's tell you what. Let's remove these 2 slides from the studio, get those out of there so it's a little easier to work with. Let's get into the Jets news of the week. So, of course, Mike Williams traded to Pittsburgh. Sadly, I did not make a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich, although I did think about it. But you know what? It was needed. He wanted out. It wasn't working in this offense. For 1 year, $10 million, I feel like it was worth it. I'm just really annoyed that they're going to owe him another $7 or $8 million in dead money. But here's the thing. Even with Allen Lazard out for 2 games, Williams had 2 targets, and he caught 1 ball for 6 yards. Williams was not making an impact in this offense. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why couldn't Rodgers and Williams get it figured out? I feel like it's a question only they can answer. Because to me, Williams added a dimension that no other receiver on the Jets had at the time until Devontae came along. That could test the catch rate, all that kind of stuff, the route running, but it just didn't work out. And in 9 games, Mike Williams had 12 catches, 166 yards, and of course, no touchdowns. He was going to move on after the season anyway. So you know what? The Jets are getting what'll probably be a 5th-round pick, probably in the back half, because Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs. So it'll be somewhere in the 20s in that 5th round for what's basically a 1-year rental. So Mike Williams, we wish you well in Pittsburgh, but as an old Chicago sports broadcaster famously once said, He gone indeed. So what do you have left here at wide receiver? Well, you have Adams and Wilson, maybe one of the best 1-2 punches you're going to find, in my mind, along with Chase and Higgins, with Brown and Smith in Philadelphia. And I can't even put Miami in there anymore. Hill and Waddle, they are like obsolete at this point. I mean, Jalen Waddle gets entire games where he doesn't even get targeted. And I know because I drafted him in fantasy, what a bust of a pick he is. Even with Tua back, stop. No, Hill and Waddle, way down on that list. I think the Jets have a top 3 wide receiver duo. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, they could be up there too, but they haven't been healthy enough this year. That's my thoughts on that. After that, you've got Xavier Gibson, Malachi Corley, I guess Sir Charles. Aaron Rodgers tried to hype him up a little bit in his press conference today. Great. But like I said, it might be time to go back to 2 tight ends or 2 running backs. It's just that the Jets have to get down the field. You know, when you want to run multiple receivers, what are you going to do? What are you really going to do? Outside of Adams, Wilson, Conklin, you put in there, you can put one other receiver in the slot, but until Lazard comes back, you know, you might have to put Brees in there and maybe another tight end. I mean, who do you want out there? Ruckert or Gibson? I mean, you know, probably Gibson, and God knows I love Corley, but oh boy, yeah, they can't trust him right now. They can't trust him. He still has to learn to run a pass pattern right. You know, I don't think you'll ever see the issue again with him dropping the ball like he did. I think he learned a very, very hard lesson. And you know what? I would play him this week. I'd play him another 5 to 10 snaps because I don't want him stewing about that. I don't want that to be his lasting memory. I want him to get the opportunity to go out there and redeem himself and make another play. That's what I want to see. All right, let's get some other news that's going around the NFL with the trade deadline. Quentin Jefferson. Well, he was released by Cleveland, and almost immediately I saw a lot of Jets social media, a lot of Jets Nation, basically saying, hey, let's bring him back. We need some help at defensive tackle. Well, that's not going to happen because he signed with Buffalo today, along with Jordan Phillips. So the Bills beef up in their interior defensive line. Here's what I would say. Calm down. This wasn't a player the Jets needed. Couple things with his time in Cleveland. He was inactive for the last 4 games of the season, and it doesn't appear to be injury related. He played 5 games for Cleveland. That's it. 1 sack, 1 solo tackle, 2 quarterback hits. And remember, when he was with the Jets, he was a bad run defender. He was about in the 30 percentile overall with run defenders on the interior defensive line. The Jets need a run defender. Quentin Jefferson cannot do that for you. So I like him. He was a nice piece for us last season. He doesn't make sense for what they need right now. So you know what? Buffalo could use him more. God bless him. But yeah, I'm not going to be losing any sleep over not having Quentin Jefferson on our team. And now watch him sack Aaron Rodgers in a couple weeks. The great Johnny Boy holding down the fort up there in coastal Virginia. Cheers to you, brother. A little more cayenne pepper water for you. That's right, because we know Johnny likes it spicy. All right. Also, a couple other things. The Jets got a few calls about DJ Reed. He was never going anywhere. And Joe Douglas did speak to the media today, but, I mean, I'm not going to spend much time on that. Nothing of consequence was really said. Just that he said he serves the pleasure of the owner. He was just trying to do as much GM speak as he could. It's the same usual cliches, canned answers. That's what Joe Douglas does in the press conferences, and I'm fine with it. The only thing I can tell you is with his demeanor, I would be surprised if he returns barring an absolutely unbelievable season. And again, like I've said, I say this every week. His contract is up. He has a choice with what he wants to do. And I think he is just too good to work for Woody Johnson, in my mind. Now, speaking of Woody, of course, with the election now over, the rumors are out there. Will Woody Johnson resume will Ambassador Johnson, gotta say it right, don't want him getting mad at me now, and will Ambassador Johnson take his role back in the UK? Well, it's way too soon to know that. But I have a very strong feeling that when President Trump takes back the White House, he is going to put a lot of different people in positions. He now knows the kinds of people that he wants working with him and who he doesn't want working with him. I think if Woody got the offer, he would go ahead and do it. I think he really likes having the tea and crumpets with the Queen, hanging out with William and Harry and all that kind of stuff. he really does dig that. And if that happens, you know what? Fine. It's fine, because I got to be honest with you. When Christopher Johnson was here, even though he's a cooler guy, a more outgoing guy, more gregarious, things weren't any better with him, because it was while he was under watch, the Jets made the decision to hire Adam Gase. Don't forget, Christopher Johnson was the one who said he is coaching football where it is going. The quarterback whisperer, Adam Gase. So, yeah, either Johnson brother, it's like, it's the lesser of two evils. It's like, would you rather die by gunshot or getting blown up? So, if Woody goes, fine, but I'm not going to have an emotional reaction one way or another. So, Roger, Corley made a mistake. Yeah, I was referring to Malachi. Made a mental mistake. Jets made a mistake not letting him see the field. Like a high school graduate, parents buying a Dodge Hellcat for a graduation present. Corley, though, he just has a good set of skills. I mean, maybe I'm saying a good set of skills because I saw the Liam Neeson movie last night, as I referenced Taken. I still hope they have some plans for Corley. I really, really do. So we'll see what happens, but I think he is going to get more of an opportunity, at least until Allen Lazard comes back. All right, Johnny asking me, Tony, am I going Tony Adams or Mills? Jalen Mills. Oh, my gosh, definitely better. Yeah, Johnny, before you came on, I ran through a whole list of stats about just how good Jalen Mills has been for the Jets. And you know what? Tony Adams is back to a full practice as of now, so he should be back in the lineup, and to which I say, great. Let me see him with Mills. Let those be my starters at safety. I'm game. Yeah, I'm absolutely game with that. Okay, let's talk about a few injuries right now because we got a few things to talk about there. Morgan Moses, what a warrior he is. He has been playing through, he revealed, a grade 2 sprain of the MCL in his knee, a meniscus issue, just a meniscus issue, and a fracture in his knee. I hear the word fracture. I'm like, all we knew at the time was a sprained MCL, and he wouldn't go on IR. And he came back in 2 weeks. This guy is sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber to get the additional oxygen, because it gets you about 3 times more oxygen than if you're just in the regular atmosphere. But Moses and Tyron Smith did not practice Wednesday. Smith with his typical veteran rest. But they are both expected to play on Sunday. So the Jets will have their starting tackles. And, man, give all the credit in the world to Moses. He wants this as much as anybody. And what an example he sets for everybody else on this team. Somebody got a little elbow injury. Somebody got a hangnail. Their taint hurts. Just look at Morgan Moses. They never thought he'd hear the word crumpets on this program. That's right. We get cultural here at New York Sports WickerMedia. Yeah, Roger. Yeah, Cards can pass the ball a little bit. Yeah, no doubt about that. We'll give you a little preview of the Cards and what we'll be dealing with it when we play them. You see what I did there? Cards dealing with. All right, I'll stop there. All right. Yeah, Tony, I agree. Jalen Mills right now, absolutely our best safety. Absolutely. Now, the most significant injuries that we're looking at are John Simpson, Jake Hansen, and Michael Carter. Simpson's got a groin injury, Hansen with a hamstring. Now, Michael Carter II, that's a little bit of a question mark. He seemed to be hurt after the Houston game, but he was, to my knowledge, he was not mentioned in the injury report today. So maybe that's a good sign. But Simpson, Hansen, and Elijah Vera Tucker did not practice. AVT, it's been announced, has a high ankle sprain. That's typically about a 4 to 5 week injury. He's not on injured reserve yet, but I would expect AVT to miss this game, and hopefully he's back for Indianapolis. If he does have to miss Indianapolis, he will definitely be back after the bye week, but I really hope he is back for the Indy game. So again, yeah, with this line, I wonder, is it going to be Mitchell and Fashanu playing guard? I thought they did a very good job against Houston. Aaron Rodgers, I think, was sacked twice in the game. And one thing with Arizona, they are not known for their ability to rush the passer. So, yeah, this is not exactly the Rams or a team like that we're facing here. Now, with Allen Lazard, just to answer Johnny's question, yeah, Simpson, he was on the stationary bike today, did not practice. So we'll see what happens, but I think Ulbrich did say he was feeling better than he expected to. Okay, so Simpson, I got a little bit of optimism. Put it this way, I got more optimism on Simpson than I do AVT at this point. All right, and as far as Allen Lazard goes, Ulbrich said he called it a really funky injury, and he said it affected the sternum and the AC joint. Yes, Dane, I know. Yes, it was a groin. Yes, with a tape. But Yeah, it was the sternum and the AC joint. Now, the AC joint, I will tell you guys this: I've had a separated shoulder, which was my AC joint. Runs from you basically your shoulder to your collarbone, right across here. While I was playing football, it just like popped up like that. It was a grade, I think, out of 5. It was like a grade 2, so I didn't need surgery or anything like that. But I had to be in a sling for a little while, for about a couple weeks, is what happened. But my sternum was good. So this affected the sternum and the shoulder at the same time. So, yeah, definitely a weird injury. Lazard missed 2 weeks, I believe, and then he goes on IR. So that's another 4 weeks on top of that he's got to miss. And I think that factors in the bye week also. So we're not going to see Lazard for a bit, which makes the trading of Mike Williams maybe a little bit more surprising. So, hey, Gibson, Corley, Charles, they got opportunities. Maybe the Jets bring back Jason Brownlee. What's he doing now, right? And like we mentioned, Tony Adams is back to full practice as well. Okay, so we got that down. All right, now let's talk. Oh, well, let's see. We got music 22. How do you spell trash? BigbluE. Music, welcome to the show. Glad you're here, man. Thanks. Even though you can take little shots, it's all well and good. It's all well and good. That's fine. Oh yeah. What are we going to do about Germany, man? With the Giants, we thought it was bad, right? When the Patriots and Jaguars played in London, we're like, this is going to destroy like international diplomacy. What's it going to do when the Giants and the Panthers are playing in Munich on Sunday? I mean, we may not be getting so many Volkswagens and Mercedes-Benzes anytime soon. You know, the cost of a Volkswagen is going to double before you know it. Thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you. Means a lot. Roger had his AC joint removed due to a workman's comp elevator injury in 99. Wow, 99. That was, okay, so my injury was 02. You know, I was a senior in college at the time, but removed? Sheesh. Yeah, the worst thing for me was driving. Like every time I did like a lateral like this, like if you're, doing the steering wheel thing with the car, that was what hurt. That took about 3 months for it to feel normal again. Man. Yeah, Roger, when you had it removed, has it affected you, like your mobility, or do you still deal with discomfort or anything like that? Curious to know. Daniel Jones is 100% garbage. Music, it's not the worst thing nowadays to be called garbage. I had to. I had to say it. Wait, the Cowboys fired Prescott? Prescott's on IR, I thought. Wait a second. 4, 3, 2. Well, I know Cooper Rush is playing. Yeah, Prescott's hurt. Prescott hurt his hamstring. No, I think you're hearing rumors here, man. No. Yeah, Wildwave, I spent about 2 minutes on the JD press conference. To me, there was nothing there really of consequence. He's saying what he has to say, but I think he is already thinking about what he's going to do after the season. Because I think, barring a miracle, he is going to leave. Because, again, he doesn't have a contract, and I don't think he wants to be working with Woody Johnson, the way that Woody basically neutered him to make some of these decisions that he made, most notably firing the coach. You cannot be happy if your boss does that, if he does basically your job and makes the decision without consulting you. Yes, he talked to Joe, but don't tell me that Joe Douglas had any say in the matter, because he didn't. Oh, IR'd. Oh, there you go. Fired, IR'd. Yeah, that is, okay, I'm with you. Yeah, IR'd, yes. Yeah, well, you can't IR the coach, but you can IR the player, of course. But yeah, fired Prescott. Yes, they IR'd him with a hamstring injury, so it'll be Cooper Rush for the foreseeable future, and that means a whole lot of Stephen A. Smith laughing videos. Roger, 17 shoulder operations, lost about 20% range of motion, insult to injury, surgeon left medical instrument in shoulder. Jeez, what happens when you go through a metal detector? God dang. And here's the other thing with a shoulder guy. It's not like a knee where your leg goes like this. Your shoulder, it goes all kinds of different ways like this. That's why like a shoulder is a lot harder to rehab than like say a knee or an elbow or a wrist even. Yeah, the shoulder is rough. Like because you have so many muscles. That's right. You're getting a freaking kinesiology lesson tonight, guys. Yeah, the shoulder, you actually have 3 muscles. in the shoulder, not just one. So you got to work out those muscles, all of them. So like presses, laterals, and front raises, doing like all three of those, that'll really help get your shoulder good. But you can't just do presses and think you got your shoulders down. You got to do more than that. More fitness tips next week. Anyway, let's get to some AFC East talk here. All right. So with the Bills, well, the Bills and Dolphins played last week. Of course, the Bills won 30-27 over Miami on a last-second Tyler Bass field goal. I'll tell you something with the Bills. They get off to very slow starts. They're like the New York Rangers in hockey. There, I got my Rangers reference in tonight. So Buffalo trailed at halftime. It's the fifth time they have trailed at halftime this year. Keon Coleman, James Cook both had bad drops in the first half. But then in the second half, just like the Jets, Bills got cooking. 3 straight touchdown drives. The defense has issues, though, okay? Tua was pressured on just 17% of his dropbacks, sacked only once. And I think that's a big reason that they signed Phillips and Jefferson to fortify the defensive line. Their defense had only 2 quarterback hits as well. So even though the Bills are comfortably ahead in the division, and let's be honest, I don't know about you guys, I'm going to be rooting for the Bills to win every game they play except when they play the Jets, especially when they're playing the Miamis of the world and all these other teams that the Jets might be fighting for a playoff spot with. Yes, I said playoffs. Okay, and their next game is at Indianapolis this Sunday, 1 p.m. It's going to be a good one. As far as the Dolphins side of the game goes, well, that's about as big a shot as I'm going to give them at this point. But Hill and Waddle, I'm floored. The NFL's leading receiving duo over the last 2 years, they combined for 2 targets in the first half on Sunday. Only 2 not catches, targets. And then the Dolphins' remaining schedule features 6 teams that rank 16th or better against the pass. So they got some tough secondaries to face, most notably ours. It felt like at being 2-6 at the time, now 2-7, going into this game against Buffalo, it felt like their last stand. They've looked listless for a lot of the season, and I know the Tua injury had a lot to do with that. And they gave Buffalo a great fight. But you got to wonder something about Miami. Was this their final desperate swing before going down for the count? Or now that Tua is back and they play Buffalo will this galvanize them a little bit? Will they have that sort of like comeback in the second half of the season like we're hoping the Jets do? Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to have a great opportunity to show it because they play Monday Night Football at LA against the Rams. I'm very glad this game is on national TV. I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to be watching it closely. I want to see if Miami shows some stones. And I wish Grandizer was here right now. I'm trying to say his name and he appears, like with Joe Hendry. If Grandizer was here tonight, because we know he loves his Dolphins. But I'd be curious to get his thoughts on this. How does Miami come out for this game against the Rams? Or are they just at 2-7? Are they just out? As far as the New England Patriots go, they lost 20-17 in overtime to the Tennessee Titans. Drake May, yeah, he did some magical things to get the game to overtime, but had 2 huge mistakes, a strip sack and then an interception in overtime, and it left Pats Nation with a very bitter feeling. Ramondre Stevenson limited to 16 rushing yards on 10 carries, and the Patriots' best rushing attack really was Drake May on these unscripted scrambles. Their next game in Soldier Field at Chicago at 1 o'clock. So I think that's a good spot for the Bears to get a win that they sorely need. Dane, I'm waiting on the joke that JD spoke outside because his badge no longer worked. Yeah. I put it this way: in 2 months, 2.5 months, I don't expect JD to be with the Jets anymore. I'm not going to be happy about it. I'll understand it, kind of like I did with Rex Ryan, but I'm not going to be happy about it. Roger giving us the follow-up, sort of the postscript. After the 14th operation, 14. Plastic surgeon closing up accident, staph infection, so nothing to mess with. Found a metal clamp that kept getting infected. God bless him. Oh, man, dude. Glad you're okay. Oh, man. All right, so let's see. Let's get that out of here as well. All right, we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna look kind of like an overall state of where the Jets are right now. I'm gonna look upward and I'm gonna look downward. I'm looking at the playoff standings, and I'm looking at Tankathon, albeit very briefly this week, because we don't know which way we're going, but we'll have a very good idea after these next 2 games. And then we're going to do a little preview of the game against Arizona. Then, of course, the trivia. And then let's see. How are we doing with the likes tonight? By the way, 16 of you in the chat, guys. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, look at that. We just hit 15 likes. All right. I guess we're going to be spinning the wheel a little bit later tonight. I think we're going to do, because you guys asked for it, we're going to do a running back wheel and a coach wheel. So we'll do 2 top 5 wheels. How about that? So we'll do that a little bit later on tonight. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Tony, Ulbrich is not good enough to do one job, let alone 2. I disagree with you on that. Jeff Ulbrich, in my mind, has been a very, very good defensive coordinator for the Jets. But doing 2, stretch too thin. I'll agree with you there. And yeah, I agree. An extra player needed to stop the run. I'm with you on that one. I would have liked to see the Jets just sign some ugly, nasty 330-pound behemoth off a practice squad somewhere. It's got to be somebody who can just stop the run. Like just Al Woods 2.0. Lecky Fotu cannot get on the field. All right. He's been on injured reserve twice. God bless him. But come on. Yeah, just a run stopper. That's all I really wanted, and you could get one for cheap. Even just trading a 7th-round pick for a run stopper would have made me very happy. But didn't happen, but there's got to be somebody that you could get off a practice squad if needed. Johnny Boy, are we getting Soto? I will say this. I think Juan Soto will take every last dollar he is offered. I don't think he's going to care about the winning. He's already won his World Series. But I think he will take the last dollar, and I would be surprised if the New York Mets do not make the biggest offer to sign him. And being that he's 26 years old, I could see about a 14-year contract at about $45 million a year, somewhere in there. Yeah, right in that area. So that would be about a little over $600 million. Put it this way: if you have to pay at least $600 million over the course of the contract, I think Soto's going to be shooting for $700 million total. That's what I'm thinking. But at 26, if I'm him, I'm looking for at least a 12-year deal, maybe even an opt-out at some point in that contract. I would not be surprised. And it's going to take a no-trade clause as well. Soto's not going to trade it. 635 for 14, something like that. I think it would take something like that. I really do. There's going to be there's only going to be so many teams bidding on him, but he's going to take every last dollar. When you're going to have the Mets, the Yankees, now the Dodgers, the Blue Jays got money to spend. I don't know if the Red Sox, sorry, Harlan, I don't know if the Red Sox are going to be involved. I don't know if they got the cash to do it. But there's always some mystery team, whether it's like the Giants who've been trying to sign a marquee free agent forever. Okay? I'm just glad the Braves won't be involved and the Phillies won't be involved. That makes me pretty happy. All right, so let's look at the AFC standings. So I pulled this from ESPN. Hopefully everybody can read this pretty well. So here's my thoughts. So the Jets actually jumped from 15th to 10th in 1 week. All right? Now, here's what I'm thinking as far as the early standings go. You've got the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Texans. They're all going to win their divisions, in my mind. Chiefs, Bills, no question about it. The Texans are 2 up on Indianapolis, and to me, they're just a much better team. Even though they have not been playing great, I still think Houston takes that division. So that's 3 spots right there. Now, you've got the Steelers at 6-2. You've got the Ravens at 6-3. I will always give Baltimore the benefit of the doubt. They do everything great except play pass defense. But everything else they're great at. So that's 4 spots that are already taken. It leaves you with 3 spots. Johnny, I thought for a second, he said, watch it be the Nationals. I thought that for a second. The thing is, they're going to trade him in 5 years anyway. They know. How long do they have Lindor? Like another 8 years or so? Yeah, I'll check real quick. They signed him to, I think it was a 10-year contract. They signed Lindor to a 10-year contract on March 31st, 2021. Oh, yeah, he's here till, so he's here for like another 7, 8 years. Lindor's going to be here a long time. Yeah, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 30. So that's 7 seasons? 8 seasons, somewhere in there. All right, so here's the thing with Pittsburgh, and I know they're 6-2, and I know they beat the Jets, but hold on, guys. I want to say something about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has the 3rd hardest remaining schedule in the NFL. Here's a crazy stat. They've won 8 games. You know how many times they played a division opponent? That many. 0. They got to play Cleveland twice, Baltimore twice, and Cincy twice. Okay? And the games that aren't division games, it gets even crazier. Here are their other games. At Washington. Hello. Philadelphia at home. Kansas City. Guys, Pittsburgh could lose. They could lose 5-6 games. They really could. I know they've been great. I know Mike Tomlin's an excellent coach. And I know they're 6-2, but they could finish, in my mind, 9-8. It could happen. So, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because it is Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are always above 500. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say they get that spot. So then that's 5 playoff spots. As far as the Chargers go, they have only 3 losses with 9 games to go. Their strength of schedule is 494. That's the 20th hardest. So it's not that bad a strength of schedule. Also doing pretty well in the conference. They're 3-2. So I think the Chargers, they're pretty hard to catch. I mean, they'd have to lose at least 3 more games. I think that's a little bit difficult. Scott Foster, how you doing, man? Hope you're having a great night. Thanks for swinging by here, brother. Yeah, so that's 6 spots. That really, in my mind, leaves 4 teams for 1. Denver, Indy, Cincy, and the Jets. Now, let's talk just a little bit about this schedule, about these teams and what they have left. Denver, 5-4. They're 2 games up on the Jets. We know Denver has the tiebreaker. Thanks, Greg Zuerlein. We appreciate it. You know, I thought of Greg Zuerlein. I need another shot of cayenne water. Oh, yes. Woo. Oh, I feel awake. All right. So not easy to catch, but Denver, I mean, still, it's Bo Nix at quarterback. I'm just not sold on them. I'm just not sold. Plus, I think they still have here's the thing. They got the 4th hardest remaining schedule Denver does. Pittsburgh is the 3rd hardest. Denver is the 4th hardest. Denver's got Kansas City twice, including in Arrowhead this Sunday. They got to go to the Chargers. They got to go to the Bengals. They host Atlanta at Mile High. They host Indianapolis as well. Think about it. These teams are all playing each other. Okay? It's not hard to see Denver losing 5 of their last 8 games. Okay? So then they would go to 8-9 if that was the situation. So then Indy and Cincinnati, they're both 1 game up on the Jets. Now, Indianapolis, as I told you, they have Buffalo this week before going to the Jets. Jets could pass them in 2 weeks. And Indy would be in our rearview mirror. Now, as far as Cincinnati goes, and Roger makes a point, if you think the Jets missing expectations is mind-boggling, Cincy is just his head scratching. The thing is, it's their defense. Their defense has suffered a lot of injuries, and T. Higgins hasn't been right all season too. The fact that both Cincy and the Jets lost to New England, I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Cincinnati, they've got the 13th hardest schedule left. Okay, and like I told you, the Jets are the 5th easiest schedule remaining in the league. Okay, 5th easiest. Here's what Cincy has. They go to Baltimore this Thursday. You go to Baltimore on a short week. I don't think I'm favoring Cincinnati in that game. Plus, T. Higgins is out again. They got to go to the Chargers. They face Pittsburgh twice. They host Denver. They host Cleveland. I know Cleveland stinks right now, but it is never a sure thing. Cleveland-Cincy is like when the Rangers play the Islanders in hockey. You throw out the records because anything can happen. So it is not crazy to think. When you think about these games, Denver's got Kansas City. Indianapolis has Buffalo. Cincinnati's got Baltimore Thursday night. The Jets could go into this game against Arizona at 425 following all 3 of these teams losing that are sitting right in front of them waiting to be caught. So then if the Jets were to win, Dane, I hope this answers your question. The Jets would be a game behind Denver and tied with Indianapolis and Cincinnati. As much as this 5-game losing streak has sucked, as angry as we've gotten, as frustrated as we have gotten, as much hair as we have pulled out, as many TV remotes as we have probably thrown, as much alcohol as we have poured down our gullets and other substances, if that's the way you go, the opportunity is there if they play again the way that they're capable of playing. That's what it's all about. But the point of this is, I'm not telling you what's going to happen. I'm not saying that they should make the playoffs. But I'm saying there is a path. There's a path. Cue the Dumb and Dumber quotes. So you're telling me there's a chance. You know what, Dane? So Indy plays Buffalo, Bengals, Ravens. If we win Sunday, what's the pecking order if all three are 4 and 6? So in that case, I think you would go by conference record, right? So the Jets would still be 3 and 4. Cincy would be 2 and 4, and Indy would be 3 and 4 as well. After that, I think then you get to common games, and we'll cross that bridge down the road, but that's going to change. To be honest with you, I'm not even thinking about a tiebreaker yet, because the truth is the Jets can take the tiebreaker with Indianapolis if they beat them in a week and a half at home. I'm getting fired up about this guy. Maybe it was the cayenne. I don't freaking know. I'll take a little more cayenne. Here we go. Woo! Oh, man. All right. Now, on the other side, I will mention this with Tankathon. We're not going to go through the whole standings, but they dropped in the order from 5th to 10th with the win. So the funny thing about it, the Jets are currently 10th in the AFC, and they are also 10th in Tankathon. Just the way these weird things work out sometimes. All right. So let's get out of there, and let's start to preview this game in Arizona, in Glendale, at State Farm Stadium. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Aaron Rodgers doing the discount double check in State Farm Stadium. Oh, can't you feel it? Oh, baby. Oh, I can't wait. See, that's the thing, Raj. How many times have things worked out for the Jets the way they needed them, and then they fell on their face? And look, this is not going to be an easy game. Guys, if you watch my schedule analysis video I made last night, and that's in the top of the chat. So if you haven't seen that video, worked pretty hard on it to analyze the rest of the teams on our schedule and who's going to be the toughest matchup. So if you haven't seen that, please make sure to save that to your watch later. Watch it after this video, because I definitely put some time into that. I had some fun with it. Hope you'll have fun watching it. Anyway, with the Cardinals, we're going to look at their DVOA along with the Jets and see where these teams rank. Dane, Cayenne is a wonderful stripper from my hometown. She's still got it at 82. You asked her age? I guess she didn't care. She was probably proud of it. Oh, my God. All right. So the Jets, DVOA, 18th in total offense, up 2 from last week. 17th in defense, up 3 from last week. Pretty good. Special teams, 29th, up 2 from last week. You lose Greg Zuerlein, you automatically go up 2 spots. Overall, the Jets are 22nd, up 3 spots from the previous week. Hey, thanks, Harlan. I appreciate you watching that one. Thanks. It's a little sort of a different analysis thing, but, just a different perspective on it. As far as Arizona goes, well, I'm going to say a quick goodnight to Hank. Have a good rest of your evening. Come back, watch the rest of the video later to check out the trivia and to check out the wheel. We will be doing the wheel in a little bit, guys. As soon as we get through this preview, it's trivia and it's wheel time. Arizona, 11th on total offense, 19th on defense, higher than most people thought they'd be. Special teams, 15th. They're overall 15th. That is a +4 from last week when they absolutely blew out the Chicago Bears. Now, I'm going to give you guys 5 things in this preview. Week 9. Look at that. Look, there's a throwback. I think 34. I think is that Justin Hardy playing maybe it's Brian Poole on Larry Fitzgerald. Who would have been 34 for the Jets at the top of your screen? But Murray's going for the throw. That's a great angle, isn't it? That's certainly Larry Fitzgerald. I'm thinking it's Brian Poole at cornerback. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go on to 5 things to know about the Arizona Cardinals. Number 1, and of course, we'll do our full preview video. That'll be up in the next day or so. The Arizona Cardinals average 149 rushing yards per game. That's 7th in the NFL, but even more than that, they average 5.3 yards per rush. That's 2nd in the NFL when you factor in both running back, quarterback, because you got James Conner to deal with, but you also have Kyler Murray, a quarterback. They even have a rookie who I think busted out a 50-plus yard touchdown run last week too. Also, Trey Benson, the rookie, who is one of the more highly thought of running backs. He hasn't played most of the season, but he's on this roster as well. Number 2, on the negative end, they average 1.6 fumbles per game. That is 4th most in the NFL. Murray, Conner, they are the culprits. All right, so even though they're a dynamic offense, you can turn them over. Number 3, we'll go to defense. Arizona is allowing 48.1% of opponent third downs to be converted. That is 31st in the NFL. The only team worse than them is Carolina. How about that? So third downs, Jets should be able to take advantage of it. Arizona is allowing almost half of them to become first downs. Number 4, Harlan, I know you said it was Justin Hardy. Would Justin Hardy have been on the Jets the same time that Fitzgerald was on the Cardinals? And again, Justin Hardy barely ever played cornerback. I thought about Hardy, but Hardy was just not used that way. But, you could be right. But both he and Poole were number 34. The Cardinals have pretty good special teams. Their punter was just named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. All right, he's good at putting the ball inside the 20. And field goal and extra point wise, they have missed one kick all year between Matt Prater, who's now on injured reserve, and Chad Ryland. That's right. The former New England Patriots kicker who got cut by the team, was absolutely terrible, has been pretty good for Arizona. All right, so Arizona in this game looks like they have an advantage on special teams. And I'll give you one other place they have an advantage. This is number 5. Arizona takes 4.6 penalties per game. That's tied for the league lead with the Cincinnati Bengals. Jets, on the other hand, do I even need to get into this? I will. 8 penalties per game, next to last in the NFL. And you know what the crazy thing about that is, Roger? Jonathan Gannon, when he went over, I was laughing because he went over to Arizona as their head coach right after Philadelphia lost the Super Bowl to Kansas City. He was the Eagles' defensive coordinator. And people, everything you heard the next day, I listened to Philly Sports Talk Radio the next day. One call after another. We got to get Jonathan Gannon out of here. Gannon sucks. He's not. What was his game plan in this game? We couldn't get any pressure on Mahomes. That's apparently how everybody from Philly talks. But yeah, people wanted Gannon gone, and he went to Arizona. It didn't start out very well, but you know what? Yeah, these guys are well coached. They're getting a lot out of the sum of the parts. I mean, pop quiz, just in your mind. Don't have to put in the chat. How many starters on the Arizona defense can you name? How many? 2, maybe? The average football fan maybe can name 2, maybe. That's how much more than that. So that they are really the epitome of a no-name defense. Is my whole point. We're not doing that. That was last week's slide. Okay, guys. Man, boom. Yeah, so you see some very clear things that Arizona is good at and things that they are bad at. It's going to be a very, very interesting game. And the schedule analysis video, yeah, this is one of the tougher matchups. Not going to tell you where I ranked it, but it's a tough matchup. All right, guys, well, I'll tell you what. It is now 7:07. We've been here a little bit over an hour, and I think it is just about that time of the week. You know what happens every week. I go into the cellar of Jets knowledge. I bust open the books. I pull up the websites. I open up the Encyclopedia Britannica, and I, WatchUK99, challenge you, the most loyal of the most loyal fan base in all of the NFL. Just how much do you know about your New York Football Jets? So if you are ready, let's play. Okay, let's add the question to the stage. And, oh, shit, oh, fuck. Oh, God, hopefully nobody saw it. I may have just ruined I think it went all the way to the end. All right, well, I can't really count it, but anyway, the chat is 6-3 so far. So here's the question. The Jets did not play the Cardinals from 1979 to 1995. They beat Arizona in 1996, their first win of the year. Made them 1-8, named the 3 Jets who scored touchdowns. I think I blew it. I got to take a shot of cayenne. Sorry about that. Hopefully nobody was paying too much attention, but yeah, so that's crazy. The Jets did not play the Cardinals, and I think they were still in St. Louis at the time from 79 to 95. I think they moved to Arizona during that time period. So the win was in Arizona during that absolutely horrible season in 1996. made them 1-8. The Jets scored 3 touchdowns. Who scored the touchdown? So 1996, going back to the Kotite days. All right, Dane O says Wayne Krebet. Is it Wayne Krebet? No. Remember when Bruce Kozla traded for Johnny Johnson? Yeah, just had so many. Yeah, Leon Johnson, Johnny Johnson. Yeah. Okay. Roger saw the answer. Thanks. Okay, appreciate it. Dane says Keyshawn. No, one Keyshawn. Yeah, these slides went nuts. All right. David D goes with Brad Smith. No, Brad Smith was not here in 1996. Neil O'Donnell. Yeah, that's an interesting guess. Maybe Neil O'Donnell ran a touchdown in. Did he do that? Nah, not quite. Roger, one of the players who's one of my favorite running backs, RNs, you mean, of the era? Running backs? Yeah, definitely a running back or two. Dano getting a little bit adventurous here with Ray Mickens. I will tell you this, guys, no defensive players. There were no defensive touchdowns. It was all offense. Tony goes with Lavernius Coles. No, Harlan, Dustin Keller. No, we're going in the Rex era here, with Dustin Keller. We're going back to the 90s. We got to go back a little ways. Yeah, so we got to go mid-90s, just before the Parcells days. So, yeah, we've got a couple of running backs on this list. All right, got a minute, 30 seconds left to go, and then we'll do the chat again. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Scott Foster says Richie Anderson. Is it Richie Anderson? Yes, Richie Anderson was one of them. Was Keyshawn on that bad team? 1996. Yes, he was. Yep, but it was not Keyshawn Johnson. David D goes with Lamont Jordan. No, Lamont was a little ways away from coming to the Jets from the University of Maryland. So you got Richie Anderson. Dano goes Harper. Just any guy named Harper. Bruce Harper? No, one Harper. But stay with the running backs. 45 seconds to go. Got this thing almost finished here. Man, about a third of the way left. Dane is trying the strategy of just throwing out random last names. Well, we appreciate the effort. Tony Alexio goes Wesley Walker. From Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. Reggie Miller. Oh, gosh. All right, 10 seconds. I don't think we're going to get this one. So looks like the record for the chat's going to drop to 6 and 4. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The correct answers were Richie Anderson, also Adrian Morrell, and the tough one, Reggie Cobb. So they were all running backs. Roger would have guessed Brad Baxter. Yeah, but Adrian Morrell was there for a long time. Was a pretty good running back. I mean, put it this way. We had a good running back, but then we got a great running back when we got Curtis Martin. And Reggie Cobb, I think, spent most of his time in Tampa Bay, as I remember. But yeah, it was Reggie Cobb. So that was the answer to the trivia. So we'll see how you do next week when we do a little bit of Jets Colts trivia. There's a lot more Jet Colt games to choose from than Jet Cardinals games, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So you guys came through Came through very, very well tonight, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to pull up the wheel. All right, so let's see. Present, share screen. Looks like they're going to make this one a little bit difficult. Okay. So I'm working on the share screen. Sometimes StreamYard will let you do it immediately. Sometimes it takes a couple of times. There it is. We got it. Allow. And I'm going to blow that up. All right, let's go over to the chats now. I'll follow the chat through my phone. Yep, looks good. And it's maxed out. Oh, that's the 100 random Jets. We're not doing that tonight. We're going to go a little different direction. We're going to go with the Jets running backs. All right, so we're going to do running backs and we're going to do coaches. We're not going to guess. Who it's going to be. If you like to guess for fun, then that's cool. Of course, go ahead and do that. But we're just going to do 1 through 5 because this is a smaller wheel, and then we're going to do 1 through 5 for head coaches. All right. So, guys, again, the rules. I can't believe you said Klecko and only 3 left for Namath last week. Oh, Roger still got a little bit of bitterness about last week. So we had a good wheel last week, though, for sure. That was quite the wheel. Yeah, that one worked out about as well as it could have. That was our best wheel in a while. I mean, some of the guys that we get at number 1. I mean, Doug Bryan, Pat Leahy, Tim Tebow, Bart Scott. Yeah, we've had some horror shows at number 1. I mean, not that they were bad players, all of them, but I'm like, number 1? God. Okay, so we're going to spin the wheel 5 times for this wheel, and then you rank where you want that running back to go on the wheel from 1, top of the list, from 5, all the way to the bottom of the list. We even have current Jet running backs here as well. Breece Hall is on this wheel. Braylon Allen, that's a little bit too quick. So let's see how this wheel goes. So I'll tell you what we will do. We'll do a guess for the number for the first pick. All right. So we'll just do it for the first spin for both wheels. So put down your guesses on who you think we're going to land on. And if we land on that player, then you get to choose where that player goes on the list from 1 to 5. So everybody, I'm going to give you a minute or so to put down your guess. Got a lot of running backs on this wheel. Yeah, we went a little bit old school. Did everything from Scott Durking to Isaiah Crowell to Michael Carter, Adrian Morrell. Reggie Cobb was not included on this one, however. Yeah, Reggie Cobb did not quite make the cut. All right, so let's see. I see Lamont Jordan. I see Frank Gore. I'm going to go with John Riggins. I'm going to say we land on John Riggins. How about that? Yeah, we got a lot of people in the chat, guys. So go ahead and let your voices be heard. Roger wants to stick with Adrian Morrell. Scott's going with Emerson Boozer. All right, I think Matt Snell's on the list, right? Is Matt Snell? Wait, yeah, Matt Snell's up there at the top of the wheel. Okay, it's like I can't do this wheel if Matt Snell's not on it. All right, here we go. Let's spin for the first time tonight. Who's going to be the first running back we land on? Let's spin that wheel in 3, 2, 1. And it's going around, and it comes to a stop on, Roger, it's your lucky day, Adrian Morrell. All right, Roger, this one is your call. Where from 1 to 5 do you want to rank Adrian Morrell? This is 1 through 5, 1 through 5 only. So 1 would be top of the list, 5 would be the bottom of the list. Yeah, I don't know if you could give him the top or the bottom spot, in all fairness. Roger's going to go with a 4. All right, so Roger, even though we thought of Adrian Morrell, thinks that we could do a little bit better than number 29. All right. I like the confidence. Yeah, because that means you think we're going to have a good wheel tonight. Okay, let's go to spin number 2 in 3, 2, 1. And it's coming to a stop on Johnny Johnson. Okay, so Johnny Johnson, I guess I got an email. All right, I'm going to look up some quick stats on him. Don't quite have those memorized. So JJ was with the Jets only 2 years, 1993 and 1994. Spent most of his career with the Cardinals. I thought him as being a Jet a little bit more. With the Jets, ran for 821 yards and 931 yards, 3 touchdowns in each of his seasons. Had a 90-yard run one year as well, and had 3 receiving touchdowns. So he wasn't here very long, but he was pretty good when he was here. Yeah, Roger, only 2 years. All right, so Johnny Johnson, where are we going to put him? Yeah, I definitely don't think he could be 1 or 2, but I think somewhere in the I think he would have been a pretty good 4 as well if Morrell wasn't there, but I think 3 I could see 3. I could see 5 as well, but yeah, I think for myself personally, if I was voting, I'd probably go with the 3 because I just think we're going to get at least one running back who is just not good. All right, let's see. I see. Okay, right now the 5s are ahead. Looks like the 5s still have the advantage here. Yeah, I guess this would be based off longevity more than anything, right? All right, I'll give you another 10 seconds or so. All right. Johnny Johnson will get the bottom spot on this list. Will that work out for us? The next 3 spins will tell us. Okay, let's move that up a little bit. All right, let's go to spin number 3. In 3, 2, 1. And we come to a stop on, oh, God, Lord. Dalvin Cook. Yeah, that's why I was thinking Johnny Johnson at 3 because I had a bad feeling we might land on a Dalvin Cook. Yeah. I don't even need to cite stats on this one, but yeah, Dalvin Cook will definitely have the number 3 spot because we can't go any lower. Because we gave Adrian Morrell number 4 and Johnny Johnson number 5. Oh man, that signing could not have worked out much worse. Okay, let's just go on. Spin number 4 in 3, 2, 1. And we land on Thomas Jones. Thomas Jones came over from the Bears and, helped spawn our rushing attack during that first year with Rex. Was there with Eric Mangini as well. Yeah, Thomas Jones, I could definitely say belongs to be in the top 2. Roger F. Devin should not be on the list. You mean Dalvin Cook? No. You need a couple of poison pills, man. You need your Christian Hackenbergs. All right, so Thomas Jones, looks like number 2. All right, so once again, we are going to finish off a wheel by filling in our top pick. So what all-time Jet great running back will we get? Matt Snell, who scored the only Super Bowl touchdown in Jets history. Curtis Martin, the Hall of Famer. Breece Hall, who could smash every Jets running back record we've ever seen. John Riggins, who also went to the Hall of Fame. Freeman McNeil. Who could it be? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. And we come to a stop on Breece, number 20. All right, gets our top spot on the list. And you know what? I'm good with that. Hadn't really had his best season so far this year, but you see he's getting close to breaking one. Run blocking hasn't been so good for him. I think he's got a big run or 2 coming up very, very, very soon. I can't say. Riggins scored touchdowns. The problem was Riggins fumbled. Riggins didn't score touchdowns. That was the problem. Riggins had a lot of yards, but they gave the ball to fullbacks a lot of times in those days. So Riggins would get you like the 20 to the 20, but then in the end zone, they give it to somebody else. So, yeah, I've never heard anybody say Riggins was a terrible Jet, but all right. All right, guys. Well, that is one wheel. We'll grade that one in a moment. Let's go on to Jets coaches. And you know what? I think I got to do this. I didn't think I was going to, but you know what? I think we're going to make a little bit of an update. So you're going to, guys, you are going to watch a live update. And I am adding Jeff Ulbrich to the wheel right now. But then I got to add one more wheel. And I'm gonna have a little fun with this one. Erase last spin. So if we land, and let's make this. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. That looks. Let's see, 11, 12. That looks a little better. Okay. All right. So now I've added Jeff Ulbrich to the coach's wheel. Okay. And if we land on erase last spin, the last coach we landed on gets erased. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this one. Let's see if we land on one of those. Again, this will only be a top 5 because we don't have a whole lot of we only have so many head coaches. I mean, I didn't put in Sammy Baugh. Hope everybody can forgive me for that. I didn't put in who is the other I put in Lou Holtz. Who was it? Yeah, Charlie Winter. I think there's one other coach I decided to leave out. But yeah, we've got everybody else. So I know a lot of bad coaches on here. So use your numbers wisely. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys. So we are going to do the guessing game again for our first spin. So go ahead and guess who you think we're going to land on. And if we land on that coach, then you get to put that coach wherever you would like on this list from 1 to 5. So chat, let's see your guesses. Throw them right down there in the chat. Give you guys a few moments, then I'll do mine. All right. Looks like we're starting with we're starting with Pete Carroll, Rex Ryan. Indy Jets, number 1 should be the worst coach. Al Groh. Okay. Yeah, like the best of the worst. All right, Weeb. Okay, I'm going to say we land on Todd Bowles. All right, that's going to be my guess. All right, our first coach wheel spin. All right, yep, Scott, I got you. All right, cool. I got you, brother. All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. And it comes to a stop on. Oh, I'm close. Oh, no, Indy Jets, you got this one. It is Weeb Eubank, the only coach to ever coach the Jets to a Super Bowl, and they won it on top of that. All right, you can put Weeb anywhere that you would like. While we're doing that, so the Jets, by the way, have had 21 head coaches. Oh, I need to change this. I misspelled erase. There we go. That's better. All right, and Weeb Eubank coached the Jets for 10 years to a 150 to a 71 and 77 and 6 record. So he was under 500, believe it or not, but did go 2-1 in the playoffs, including the Super Bowl. All right, Indy, where are you going to put him? Indy, this is yours, so I need you to let me know where you want to put Weeb Eubank on this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. This is all you. But yeah, most people wouldn't think Weeb was a sub 500 coach, but he was. Was he the longest tenured coach? Yeah, he coached 154 games. The next most is Joe Walton at 111. Yeah, there's only 2 coaches who have made it to 100 games. Rex Ryan was close. He coached 96. Walt Michaels made it to 87. So only 2 coaches made it to 100. Indy, history says he should be number 1, but I think number 2 is fitting for him. Okay. I mean, yeah, he went 2-1 in the playoffs, and he was this under 500 coach. Okay. All right, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, Weeb Eubank, by the way, was not a good general manager. I will say that. Actually, if you look at win percentage, Weeb is, let's see. I think I could sort this by win percentage, I think. Weeb ranks, let's see. Joe Walton has a higher winning percentage than Weeb Eubank. So does Bill Parcells, Al Groh, Herman Edwards. Mangini and Rex are right behind, like 2 percentage points behind him. So, and that, yeah, so that is pretty crazy. All right. All right. Weeb Eubanks number 2. All right. We're going to go to spin number 2. Now, there is the chance we land on a race last spin and Weeb gets kicked off the list. So here we go. Spin number 2 in 3, 2, 1. And we land on Joe Walton. Well, Joe Walton. Oh, yeah, Mike Holovac. That's the one I left out because he coached one game. And I left out Ron Middleton. I hope nobody's offended. But Joe Walton coached the Jets to a 53-57-1 record, went 1-2 in the playoffs. But I can tell you this. His players did not like him. Joe Klecko did not like him at all. Did not like him whatsoever. So, guys, yeah, not a very popular coach. A lot of people think that he did not get the most out of the talent he had to work with. So, chat, where are we putting Joe Walton? 1, 3, 4, or 5? Roger wants to go with a 4. Dane says 3 because we won't get all good coaches. That is a very good point. that is a very fair point. As a coach, and he says he should be a 4. All right. All right. Yeah, then watch us land on Rob Saleh and Bruce Coslet, right? All right, Harlan's going with a 3. Right now, it's pretty much a toss-up between 3 and 4. So, guys, let your voices be heard if you haven't voted yet. Yeah, do you want Joe Walton at 3 or 4? I'll give you a few seconds. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to break the tie. Yeah, we'll give you a minute on that. Right now, I got to be honest, I'm leaning towards a 4. Yeah, I'm leaning 4. All right. Yeah, I know he coached the Jets for a long time, but again, under 500, 1-2 in the playoffs, and yeah, didn't really get the most out of the talent he had to work with. And again, when your players don't really respect you, yeah, I can't go very high on this. All right, so Joe Walton, number 4. So we got Weeb at 2 and Joe Walton at 4. Let's go to spin number 3 in 3, 2, 1. And it's going to come to a stop on Pete Carroll. Harlan, why didn't you put Gase on the board? Is Gase not there? Gase is there. Yeah, Harlan, look at about 4 o'clock on the wheel. Adam Gase is right there. Hey, Yeti, I got you. Glad you're here. How you doing? Hope you're having a good night. Well, Pete Carroll, 1 season, 6-10, very unceremoniously fired for Rich Kotite. Got the team off to a good start, but we know what happened. The spike game against Miami. So Pete Carroll, where's he going to be? 1, 3, or 5? Those are only options. I mean, yeah. Really did get a raw deal. I mean, Pete Carroll was just in a bad spot. He wasn't ready. He wasn't seasoned enough to handle that. Looks like 3 has got the heavy advantage on this. Yeti's going with the 5. Being a little tough on Pete Carroll? Okay. Yeah, I think the 3s are going to have this, guys. I think we're going to get somebody who is, we're going to get like a Charlie Winner or, or Kotite, Gase, Saleh. We're going to get somebody. I'm putting Saleh towards that level. I mean, how could you not? How could you not? And to be honest, I think I put Todd Bowles below them also. All right. Looks like 3 is going to have this one. So Pete Carroll is number 3 on our coach list. So we got spots 1 and 5 to fill. We've got Weeb Eubank at 2, Pete Carroll at 3, and Joe Walton at 4. Let's go to spin number 4. So we either want a top coach or a bottom coach. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Look at that wheel go, and we landed a stop. This looks pretty good. Well, we landed on him, so guys, you're gonna have to forgive me, but I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Yes, there we go. All right, Herman Edwards. Well, as far as Herman goes, this is a tricky one. Coached the Jets to a 39-41 record. Jets have a lot of coaches who are just under 500. But coached the Jets to a 2-3 record in the playoffs, was only here from 2001 to 2005. Had a pretty dang good roster, but coming off the Al Gross season, They were in the playoffs most of the time that he was here, so there is something to be said for that. The way he coached that AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh, yuck. It was very frustrating that they got as conservative as they did. Man, yeah, Roger, Weeb was 1, Herb should be 2. Can't totally argue with that. Yeah. Yeti, I don't think of Carroll as Jets coach. Pat's in college. Yeti, you're forgetting the Seattle Seahawks. He was kind of there forever. So, yeah, Carroll with the Seahawks won a Super Bowl. Should have been 2 if he had run the freaking ball with Marshawn Lynch. Not that I'm still bitter. All right, Herman. Where's Herman Edwards going to be? Number 1 or number 5? So we place Weeb, Pete Carroll, Joe Walton. I mean, you can make an argument either way that how these coaches could go. So Dame wants to go 5. Wow. Okay. We put Herman down there. There's really only 2 coaches that can rescue this. If we put Herman at the top, there's a number of coaches that can rescue this. Andy says, roll the dice and put him at 5. Woo! Okay. All right. We're adventurous tonight. I like it. Make Jets coaches great again. Dane, how can you put him over Weeb? Blame Indy. Blame Indy. He put him at 2. Dane guessed him on the wheel. It was his choice. It was his choice alone. Harlan says put him at number 1. Oh, boy. Chat's going to be very divided. I'll tell you what. No matter what happens, the next spin will determine if this is the right spin. Hey, Cameron Trammell. How you doing, man? Yeah, you're just here for the end of the coach's wheel. All right. Roger says Pete is a 5 as a Jet. Herm is 3. Hope for Tuna and Rex. All right. It looks like the bottom of this is winning out. So I'm putting Herman Edwards at number 5. Below Weeb, Pete, and Joe Walton. Wow. Yeah, Karen, I'm doing pretty fantastic, to be honest with you. Work's been very stressful this week. Very glad to be home. Glad to be able to be doing this. And here's another sip of cayenne water for the working man and woman. Not that any women watch the show much, but so to me, we got Herman at 5, Joe Walton at 4, Pete Carroll at 3, Weeb Eubank at 2. The only coaches that could make this right are Rex Ryan and Bill Parcells. Those are the only ones. We can't use Weeb again. Herman's been used. Walt Michaels may be the other one. I'll give you Walt Michaels. If we land on one of those 3, then I'll say then you can make a case that we did pretty well. All right, so it has to be one of those 3. Anything else, and I would say this wheel's a bust. All right, here we go. Our final spin of the night, we think, in 3, 2, 1. Where do we land on erase the last spin? It's not going to be that. We land on, Pete Carroll. Okay, so we get to respin. That spin does not count. It was very close to Eric Mangini, and I will tell you, if Eric Mangini had got the number 1 spot, instant buzzer. I don't care. I know Mangini has his defenders. I'm not one of them. All right, here we go. Spin number 5, take 2. In 3, 2, 1. And it's coming to a stop on Al Groh. Well, I'll tell you what. Al Groh did coach the Jets to a 500 record. And there's very, very few coaches who have ever done that. All right, or actually 9-7. He actually has a winning record as Jets coach. Coached the Monday Night Miracle, and outside of Parcells, has the highest winning percentage in Jets coaching history. But again, 2 things. Al Groh was part of a absolute. I'm going to get out of the wheel. I'm going to stop sharing. Al Groh was part of an absolute meltdown. It cannot be denied, okay? That team after the Monday Night Miracle had nothing left. And again, I don't care what anybody tells me. With several games to go, Al Groh had his foot out the door to go to Charlottesville to coach Virginia. He couldn't wait to coach in the Peach Bowl every year. And he stayed there for years. So to me, he didn't want to be here. So I can't put Al Groh ahead of Weeb Eubank on this list. I can put him ahead of Carol Walton. I don't know if I can put him ahead of Herman Edwards. And then we go back to the running back wheel. Breece Hall, Thomas Jones, Dalvin Cook, Adrian Morrell, and Johnny Johnson. You know, the Dalvin Cook placement at 3 does it. Guys, I hate to do this, but as far as tonight goes, as far as how we did on this wheel, well, and really, I think we lost on both wheels, so I have to say it's a double. What do you want from me? The wheel doesn't lie, guys. I can't do over. No, I can't do. I can't do a mulligan. Maybe what I'll do is I'll add a space where you can erase any one player from the list that you want. So maybe we'll do that for future wheels. But all right. So I think that is going to do it for tonight, everybody. Want to thank you very much for hanging out with me for an hour and 40 minutes of fun. And I'll say it again, top of the chat, there's a link to the schedule analysis video for the Jets that I put out there last night. It's getting some pretty good reviews. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's about 15, 20 minutes or so, breaking down all the remaining teams the Jets have left on their schedule and who really is the toughest match. This isn't about record. This isn't about home or away. It's about what do these teams do well that the Jets struggle with. So we really broke it down. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Everybody, thank you again for the love. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the Jets game on Sunday, and I will see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair. Good night, everybody.